Chapter 26 Beverly University. Before them was a large red brick building with a black and white checkerboard paved area outside the front entrance. "Is this the university?" asked Lydia. "No, it's to your left," said Harry. To the left of the building were some public gardens. Lydia looked and frowned. "Where's the entrance?" "We didn't find it," said Harry. "This is where we got caught." "We need to search the gardens to find the entrance," said Ron. "We should split into 3 teams. Harry and I will take the far end. Tally and Lydia take the middle. Toby and Ambrose, could you do this end?" Harry and Ron walked to an intersection in the road, which was at the far end of the public garden. They took a footpath into the gardens. As they were searching around, an owl swooped past. It alighted on a bush in the middle of a formally laid-out flower bed. As they watched, the owl disappeared. "Well, that seems suggestive," said Ron. Harry grinned. "I think we'll start here," he agreed. They scanned around the area, wands in hand. "There's something," Ron mused. "I can feel it," Harry confirmed. "It can't be too tricky to get in. It is a university entrance and not a secret vault." After a minute or so trying different spells and incantations, Ron managed to conjure the outline of the doorway. He dismissed it again. "Good idea, Ron. We'll get the others, then open it," Harry said. They returned to where the teams had split up. Lydia and Tally were already back. "We didn't get anything," Tally told them. "We did," said Harry. "At least, Ron did. It's over in that flower bed, with the low hedge around it." Toby returned with Ambrose a couple of minutes later. "Sorry, dear people," Ambrose apologised. "I had to obey a call of nature. Then I was unable to locate Toby in the darkness." Lydia groaned with embarrassment. "The boys found a way in," Tally told them. "Come on." They made their way to the flower bed and stepped over the low hedge which surrounded it. With a wave of his wand, Ron summoned the doorway. They filed through it into a dimly lit corridor. "So, there is an invisible university right in front of the Muggle townspeople, completely unseen. What an idea," Ambrose marvelled. "Concealment in plain sight. We do it all the time," Harry reminded him. They carried on down the corridor. "Should we expect to find anyone around at this hour?" Ambrose asked. "I wouldn't have thought so," said Harry. "Possibly a night guard or 2. We need to keep our eyes open, though. What we're trying to find is the office of this person. I don't know, but I expect the office will be marked to Kelly Lee. I don't think she was registered as Rakison here." "Do you know what her faculty or subject would have been?" asked Tally. "Well, as Professor Lee, she taught Transfiguration at Hogwarts. So I guess we look for the Transfiguration faculty. I'm not sure if her office will still be marked, or whether someone else has taken it over." "We ain't got a heck of a lot to go on, do we?" said Toby. Harry shrugged and smiled wryly. At the end of the corridor was a door into a reception area. Harry held up a hand to tell the others to wait, while he carefully looked through the windows in the door. "It's okay," he confirmed. "No one is around. Let's go." In the reception area was a large unoccupied desk, a row of chairs along one wall, and a signboard to all the departments on the opposite wall. "Transfiguration 3rd floor. Stairs are this way," Tally noted. They climbed 2 flights of stairs, looking carefully for any guards. Harry and Ron went to climb the next flight of stairs. "Where are you going?" Tally hissed. "3rd floor," Harry frowned. "This is the 3rd floor," Tally told him. Toby and Ambrose nodded. "The ground floor is counted as the 1st floor over here," Ambrose explained. 2 doors led off the landing. "Which way, then?" Harry asked. "Split up," Tally suggested. "I'll take Ambrose and Lydia this way. You boys can go the other." They went their separate ways. The corridors were dimly lit by a faint glow from the ceiling, as was the case in the rest of the building. The doors leading off the corridor were numbered, but there were no nameplates. "Not overwhelmingly helpful, are they?" Ambrose commented. How do you propose to find Aloria's office? Tally and Ambrose frowned at each other for a few moments. Oh, come on, said Lydia. What? They both said. It's going to be the hardest one to get into, of course, she explained. She has a lot to hide. I think you're right, Tally admitted. The reasoning does seem sound, Ambrose agreed. They tried the first few doors, up to a corner in the corridor. Most were locked, but Tally had no difficulty unlocking them. They seemed to be meeting rooms, lecture rooms, and what appeared to be practice rooms. None were offices, though. Tally stopped them at the corner. They listened. Someone was approaching. Tally waved the others back a few steps. She stood poised for a moment against the wall, her wand held ready. Suddenly she stepped out. A red light burst from her wand tip. Ambrose and Lydia heard a body fall to the floor. Oh my, I'm sorry. Tally sounded panicked. She ran forward, out of sight round the corner. Ambrose and Lydia crept cautiously to the corner and looked around it. Harry, Toby and Tally were huddled over the figure of Ron on the floor. Harry's wand tip glowed golden. The golden light spread and enveloped Ron's body. Within a second or two, he sat up. I'm so sorry, Tally was saying over and over. It would appear that the corridor loops around, linking both of the doors at the stairwell, Ambrose observed. Did you chaps find anything? Yeah, Toby confirmed. There's one door we can't open. That would be our best bet. If we can't open it, then how do we get in? Lydia asked. We didn't try too hard, Harry explained. We wanted to see if there were any other likely leads. We didn't find anything, Lydia admitted. Och, said the chicken. Could you do better? Ambrose asked the chicken. There was no reply. You okay now, Ron? Toby asked as Ron got to his feet. Nothing damaged, Ron assured him. Not even my reputation. It always seems to be me. Except when it's me, Toby corrected him, looking askance at Tally. Where is this office? Tally asked. Harry and Toby led the way. Alohomora seemed to be fine with all the others, said Harry as they reached the door. He put one hand on the door handle, and with the other he stroked his wand up and down the edge of the door. After a moment or so he stopped and stepped back. Well, I'm out of ideas other than blasting or burning it. I was hoping not to make that much noise. Toby's better than me at this, Tally said. Maybe he could have a try? Toby did much the same as Harry had already done, or so it seemed to the casual observer. He too stepped back after a couple of minutes. Nope, he said. I'll go with blasting round the frame. Tally and I can cast silencing charms in the corridor to either side. You and Ron do small blasts around the frame to loosen it. Sounds good, said Ron. Harry nodded. Toby and Tally stood either side of the group, wands raised. They cast a blue smoke, which formed a wall top to bottom and side to side, filling the corridor. There were small banging and cracking sounds as Harry and Ron worked their way around the door frame, blasting away plaster and stone. At last they stopped. Harry grabbed the handle and pulled. The door swayed. He put his shoulder to it and pushed. The door fell into the room behind. They all crowded forwards to look inside. It had been a smartly appointed office, before it had been filled with plaster dust and splintered wood. It held a large desk, bookshelves and paintings on the walls, and a mosaic floor underfoot. Now what? Lydia asked. Look around, everyone, Harry said. See if you can find anything unusual. Lydia put the chicken down on the floor and started to search with the others. The chicken walked around, pecking at the floor. It went over to Ambrose and pecked his foot, then returned to the centre of the floor. Ambrose walked over and stood by the chicken. Lydia joined him. The chicken pecked at a point on the mosaic. It kept pecking. Ambrose bent down to look, but he did not appear to find anything out of the ordinary. Then Lydia pointed out the red, diamond-shaped tile where the chicken kept pecking. Ambrose nodded. There might be something here, Ambrose announced. The others looked at him. They came and gathered around and looked at the red tile. It's the only red tile, Ron pointed out. They all looked around the floor. He was right. Harry bent down to look more closely. He put his hand out to brush away some dust. The chicken sprang forward and pecked Harry hard on his wrist. "Ow!" Harry exclaimed. "You little—" "Look!" Lydia shrieked. A drop of blood had fallen from Harry's wrist onto the tile. It started to glow around its edge with a blue-white light. They stepped back as the light spread around the surrounding tiles, marking out a large circular area. As they stepped back to watch, the tiles within the circle faded from view, revealing a spiral stone staircase leading downwards. Ambrose nodded his head sagely. "Sometimes one needs a magic chicken to show you the way," he observed. "Is that a saying?" Toby asked him. "Not until now," he admitted. "I'll lead the way," Ron insisted. "I should lead," Harry protested. "Remember Caramel?" said Ron. "You might be the target. I'll lead." Ron started down the staircase. The rest followed. Ambrose picked up the chicken. "Clever girl," he said. "To think I nearly left you out in the public gardens." The chicken gave his hand a gentle peck. Ambrose handed the chicken to Lydia. Toby took up the rear in case anyone was to follow them. The stairs were unworn and clean, as if recently made. Though the space was cramped, the air was fresh. The staircase went down a long way, much deeper than the 2 flights of stairs they had climbed after they had entered the university. "If we were on the 3rd floor, isn't this going through other people's rooms on the lower floors?" Lydia whispered. "Not necessarily," Tally replied. "How come?" Lydia asked. "I'm not sure if you are aware yet, Lydia," her uncle intervened, "but magic, it transpires, is real, and it tends to break the rules we thought we knew." Lydia seemed satisfied with her uncle's answer. Further on and deeper down, Tally quietly called a halt. "If Aloria is here, don't you think she will know someone is on her stairs?" she asked Harry. "It's certainly possible," he admitted. "I'm hoping she's asleep. Let's face it, if she was going to attack, this would be a pretty good place to do it." "That is not the most deeply comforting thought," Ambrose said. "May I suggest we continue downwards, as quietly as we might?" Harry nodded. He also reduced the brightness of his wand light, and the others followed suit. They continued to descend with more stealth. At length they could make out a light coming from below. They put out the lights of their wands and crept lower. Soon Ron signalled to the others to stop and went ahead. He came to an open archway at the bottom of the stairs. Cautiously, he peered around the edge of the arch. Beyond it was a stylish living room with rich wooden flooring and light monochrome upholstered furniture in a Scandinavian style. No one was visible. "I'll go on alone," Ron whispered to Harry, turning around to him. "Let me check it out. Watch my back." Harry laid his hand warmly on his friend's shoulder and nodded. Ron turned again towards the archway and, with practised caution, moved into the room. The others waited on the stairs, hardly daring to breathe. Ron searched the room, then he returned. "There's a door leading off from this room," he whispered. The others crowded forwards to hear. "So it's probably a suite of rooms. My guess is that this is where she's hiding." "Ron," Tally murmured, "let me go ahead as a cat. I'm small and she doesn't know me. She's not going to freak out at seeing me like she might at you." Ron had to agree that this seemed the better way to search whatever other rooms there might be in this hideaway. "We'll be in this first room waiting for you if you need backup," Ron told her. They filed quietly into the room. As the last of them stepped into the room, the lights went out and they heard a door slam behind them.